Hi, my name is Vanessa Hobbs, and I'm founder and CEO of Serious About Science. I'm a college instructor, and it's my job to be able to help students learn the basics of biotechnology. Now, I've been able to use those to teach students as young as elementary school level the concepts of biotechnology. Now, we all know that science fair season is coming up, and I know that that stresses out a lot of parents. And I really hate to see that, because science fair projects don't have to be complex, they don't have to be difficult, and they don't have to be expensive. Now, some students have a scientist at home who's able to help them with those projects. Well, if your child doesn't have a scientist at home, they do now. So, in my next set of videos, I'm going to go through some really simple and manageable ideas for science fair projects. And in those science fair projects, I'm going to make sure that they are affordable and let you focus on the important parts of science. Because one of the most important parts about science does actually happen to be failure and learning from those failures. But being able to minimize that for students and being able to ignite their interest in science from an early age is especially important, especially as middle schoolers start to lose their interest in science. So, my very first series that we'll be talking about is going to be using bacteria. So bacteria is a really great experiment to start with because it's all around us and we can actually generate some bacteria without even having to buy any. So if you sign up for my mailing list, I will send you 5 experiments that can be done, really awesome for science fairs, but also really great for projects that you can do at home using simple things that can be utilized and purchased from Amazon and shipped directly to your house, sometimes for less than $20. So these are relatively cheap reagents. So when you're working with bacteria, you're going to need 2 different types of applicators depending on what you're going to do. So if you do end up buying bacteria online, I actually have a preferred company that I typically end up buying my bacteria from, which I'm going to link down below. Really awesome company, really great experiences with them. If you end up buying bacteria from those particular companies, you are going to want what's called inoculation loops. These inoculation loops are really great for us to be able to move bacteria around. There are many different types and sizes. Honestly, just buy whichever is more affordable. Normally you're going to get them in a bag with a lot of them. They are relatively cheap. So if you are going to be collecting bacteria, inoculation loops are not very good in terms of collecting bacteria from surfaces. If you are going to be collecting bacteria from surfaces, you are going to want to purchase sterile cotton tips so that you can end up wetting them with either sterile water or some sterile LB media, any of those, to be able to collect bacteria from surfaces. So inoculation loops, really great for moving around bacteria that you purchase online. If you will be collecting bacteria from a hand or a surface, you're going to want a cotton-tipped applicator with, make sure that those are sterile and wrapped. Also extremely cheap and available on Amazon, as well as some other scientific companies. So that's going to help you to move your bacteria around. How do you want to grow your bacteria? You have a few different options for growing bacteria. When I grow bacteria, I buy petri dishes. I buy them on Amazon like everyone else does. Most of the time, the fancier companies may charge more for these. Please just buy the cheapest ones you can. They will come vacuum sealed in sterile containers. Now for me personally, I make my own agar. So I purchase nutrient agar, also purchased through Amazon, and I follow the instructions on the side, which will tell you how much to mix in with whatever amount of water you're using. So most of the time they'll tell you how much to mix in with either a liter or 100 milliliters, and I will mix it up doing it that way. So I purchase my own nutrient agar and actually pour my plates, but most people, if you're going to just do a simple science experiment and don't have the entire lab to be able to do that, you're just going to want to buy these with the LB agar already on there. So I definitely recommend people just purchasing them pre-poured. If you are in the mood to be able to make your own, you can, but in terms of ease of use, they are a little bit more expensive to have them pre-poured. but the amount of energy that it takes to make sure that you maintain their sterility and don't end up growing anything you don't intend on growing, sometimes it's better just to buy it. So that is generally, these are all being able to be purchased on Amazon, and you can set up any of the 5 experiments that I've included doing those. Sometimes you'll actually want to grow bacteria in a liquid media, and so for that we have an LB media. So this is LB media that I've made. LB stands for Luria broth. Once again, also something you can purchase online. You can either purchase it in powdered form, or you can already buy it sterilized and already pre-mixed. If you are going to buy a powder and end up using it for your bacteria, you are going to want to sterilize those. I personally sterilize mine using a canning pot, because that will generate enough heat and temperature for 15 minutes to sterilize my solutions. So I do not have what most scientists have, which is an autoclave. I actually use a canning pot to be able to sterilize all of my bacterial work. So you are either going to collect bacteria from your hand or a surface and end up applying them to your agar plates. Normally, we as scientists have an incubator at 37 degrees Celsius. Not the most important thing in the world. It just means that your bacteria is going to grow a little bit slower. So if you put it on a windowsill or someplace it's going to get some amount of sunlight, preferably upside down so that any condensation doesn't end up falling on here, you can set up those experiments very, very easily. Ideally, we want those at 37 degrees Celsius, but if you're looking for something quick and easy to do at home for a science fair project or just a project for your student, by all means, you can do it without the incubator. Now, I have 5 free experiments that you can do very simply at home. Very basic, simple, nothing to stress anybody out, lets you know what's important about them. And so I will give those out to my email list at getseriousoboutscience.com. You can find that and any additional videos in this series there. My next video will be on how we are actually going to get our bacteria, what we're going to do with it, talk a little bit about sterile technique. And all of those videos are going to be available to people on my YouTube channel as well as on my my email page. So very happy to share all of these techniques so that we can get everybody interested in science and know that it doesn't have to be scary for anybody. So expect more from this really great series on your science fair that's coming up. It is science fair season, and so everybody's getting in high gear. And there are many, many things that you can do at home very simply and cheaply to be able to get your student interested in science. So with that, I will let you go. Please check out my website at www.getseriousoboutscience.com, as well as my social media pages, to be able to get information on easy experiments and easy things that your student can apply in their daily life to be able to do serious science and be interested in science, because our world needs more science, and I'm happy to give it to you.